Number 5, World of Tanks. World of Tanks is a massively multiplayer famous game with online gaming developed by Belarusian Cypriot Gaming Company, for also known as the Wargaming community, featuring early to mid-century era combat vehicles. It is built upon a freemium business model where the game is free to play, but participants have the option to pay fees to basically pay to win. The focus is on player v player gameplay, with each player controlling an armored vehicle, which may be a light, medium, or heavy tank, tank destroyer, or self-propelled gun. World of Tanks debuted as an esports game as the Cyber Games 2012. World of Tanks has been posted to multiple gaming consoles: an Xbox 360 version, a PS3 version, and a PC version. Xbox 360 players can use separate servers to those playing the Windows version, and players of each version have the separate accounts. The PlayStation 4 version was released in 2016. World of Tanks has also been recently expanded to mobile platforms under the game name World of Tanks Blitz, in addition to a board game titled World of Tanks Rush and collectible card games titled World of Tanks Generals. Gameplay. The gameplay is basically the player takes control of a single armored vehicle of their choice and is placed into a battle on a random map. The player has control over which vehicles they want to use and which way they want to use the movement and firing, and communicate with allied players through typed or voice chat. A simple random match is won either by destroying all vehicles on the opposing side or their base. There are other game modes that can change the rules of battle, but gameplay mechanics remain the same as World of Tanks continues multiple game mechanics such as camouflage, shell ricochets, and module changes. The game is also in development and is always changing, and the amazing thing is, as I said, it's freemium and it's free to play. So, before we end this one, number 5, it has 6 different development stages and 16 different game modes, including customization, global map, strongholds, clan wars, vehicle types, and etc. Some of the more features is basically the different versions of the game and the competitive play. The only official World of Tanks esports tournament is Wargaming.net League, which takes part on 4 different regions: CIS, APSC, and the EU, which has 12 different teams in each, and the North American version, which only has 10. The prize pool for the 2016 WGL finals was $300,000 US, which equates to around £280,000. So that's quite a substantial amount if you want to win the battle, and you and your team can take that home. So yeah, guys, we'll move on to number 4 now. Number 4 is Call of Duty 2, one of the most iconic Call of Duties before the hit series of Call of Duty 4 and World at War, and so on until the futuristic Call of Duty Star Wars that is in existence today. Call of Duty 2 was a jolt of electricity applied to World War II formula when it launched. In 2005, familiar scenes like the D-Day landings were recreated in great detail within the engine, with more drama and a nail-biting sense of vulnerability. And at the time, it was the best war had ever looked. With 4 campaigns across the 3 theaters, including Africa, Europe, and the Eastern Front, the global scope of the war was on display. Like the original Call of Duty, it followed British, American, and Russian troops, but also presented the North African campaign for the first time, as the Brits fought across the desert, melting and dying and hiding from tanks, such as the Wehrmacht Tiger 2. Despite being a decade old, COD 2 has stood the test of time, thanks to the fact that it was one of the first games to add features like regenerating health, so you could focus on the battle and not worry about bleeding out or dying or not regaining your health, and about scurrying around looking for health kits. And with improved ally AI, it really felt like you were leading proper soldiers. All of them were named, rather than the mindless models with guns attached to them. Not just a great World War II game, Call of Duty 2 is one of the best FPS games on PC to date. Number 3. Number 3 is Battlefield 1942, one of the most iconic Battlefield games to date. With Battlefield 1942, it felt like the FPS genre was evolving until DICE released the first in what was an enduring series. Multiplayer shooters were mostly concerned with the glory of the individual. There were fast reflexes and kill counts. Battlefield 1942, however, is all about cooperation with your teammates. You can see where a lot of the series system began, like the roles of classes, the addition of vehicles like tanks, planes, and other vehicles such as the Tiger 42 and the infamous Sherman. and is important and these are important in controlling the maps. There was even a greater focus on combined arms warfare through the use of the Thompson and the MP40. You could be bombarding coastlines with your capital ship while your chum flies around in a bomber trying to take out manned installations protecting the coast. The scale of diversity was crazy in this game, and the maps felt like Duke it out all of World War II theatres, Africa, Eastern Front, and the Western Front all included. So you could fight as a British in Alameini or the Imperial Japanese Navy in Iwo Jima. A few years ago, EA made it free, but it has since been removed from Origin due to the GameSpy going out of business, leaving the game without servers. However, there are also still some places to download it from, along with community servers. There's still some life in the game, and you should definitely check it out. Number 2 is Days of War, a new early access game within Steam. This was kickstarted on the Kickstarter website and has gained over $400,000 in funding. Firstly, it's an early access and will provide feedback for the improving of Days of War with new features, better optimization, balanced gameplay, and fresh content. The basic Days of War basically plans to be released fully within 12 months. After launch, it plans to continue to add more official maps and weapons for free. Not all this here bullshit about paying for your guns. So basically, some of the features that they're planning to add that will differ from the early access is basically more official maps and environments, cosmetic progressions and stats tracking, both Commonwealth and Red Army as playable factions, each with their own full arsenal of new weapons, new game modes, and a map editor for full Steam Workshop accessibility and support for the custom maps through developers such as the CSGO community who are very famous for developing their maps. So what is the current state of the early access version? Basically, Days of War has a 32 multiplayer combat with over 20 unique weapons on 3 tested maps, adding a fourth one there yesterday, of being the 24th of February. There are both official and unsupported communities within the game. Up until now, they have purposely aided aimed for quality over quantity of content, and they will continue to add so in the future. They will begin adding new maps through early access, and they will continue focusing intently on eliminating all bugs, improving performance on a high and low end hardware. The prices will remain constant throughout early access, but will increase upon full release. Therefore, I advise you get it now while it's only $19.99, and I think it's $24. And basically, some of the improvements that they're working on in the early access this month are listening to the community's feedback, new sounds. They will prioritize what will make the game more awesome and test new ideas and iterate new languages such as Polish and German, etc. etc. The game basically, one of the most famous maps within the game is the Omaha Beach, and iconically known for its D-Day action, one of the bloodiest battles. And yeah, that map is absolutely amazing. And as you can see from some of the footage, you should definitely check it out. And I also released a video on that map, so I'll put the link in the description and you should check it out. Number 1 is Heroes and Generals. It is a free-to-play first-person shooter and strategy video game, developed and published by Retromodo. Retromodo was founded by some of the original founders of the IO Interactive and the Hitman series. The developers called it a mass participation game in contrast to traditional massively multiplayer games such as Call of Duty and Battlefield, where the actions in the FPS part time of the game reflects the strategy in part. The player can use weapons from Germany, the United States, and the Soviet Union, and the French and British forces are bound to be added within the following months. The gameplay: the player starts with a soldier from each faction, the United States, the Soviet Union, or the German army, where actually sometimes the United States and the Soviets come up against each other. Don't ask me why, but it's effective and it's pretty fun. And you can buy additional soldiers with in-game credits. These soldiers are equipped with a default rifle and can play the encounter game mode immediately. When entering a battle, the player is presented with an interactive map, hitting M to show and to show the map. This shows terrain and which allows team controls which controls points. In the skirmish and encounter game modes, the player can click on the spawn point and they can join in there, or they can spawn on top of a friend. The game includes World War II era tanks, planes, and land vehicles. Infantry units are also a vital gameplay aspect, tactical decisions made by officers in grand campaigns, and if you work your way up the ranks, you become a general, but we'll talk about that in a moment. In the grand campaigns, it affects the soldiers' support, reinforcements, and logistics. Players will encounter a variety of terrain from fields and countrysides to large cities based on the Warsaw battles. The game features three modes for the FPS part of the game: Assault, Skirmish, and Encounter. It has four different modes and basically Assault. In Assault, one team will be defending from an offensive team, or in rare cases, two offensive teams. The goal of the defense team is to capture control points in order to re-seize them, and basically the gameplay plays on and off until one side dominates the map and takes their base. It's pretty fun to play, and it's quick, so you should check it out. Skirmishes are basic games that can be played by any character who only has about 10 to 15 minutes to spare, and wants a quick battle or a quick skirmish to shoot between two teams. Generally, it's the Russians and the Germans, but this can change. These teams must then fight for control over 3 points: 01, 02, and 03. When a team is holding a point, a bar from the team on the top left side of the screen shows. The more control points occupied, the faster the bar will fill. The game ends when one team successfully succeeds in holding multiple points for a long enough time for the points to add up. Encounter is one of the most fantastic game modes within the game. It has 16 different points, and the team that will win will basically control all of these points. But it can change. Sometimes the Germans win based on morale and other things because they were a weaker force, so if they take maybe 5 of the points, they win the match. Or if they can hold off 6 of the points, they win the match. Some of the features within Heroes and Generals: basically, Heroes and Generals also has a unique feature set in apart from other World War II games. The use of the vast terrain vegetation has allowed players to hide in brush and tall grass without worrying of being spotted by enemy snipers. It's a free-to-play game, but unlike other free-to-play game shooters, it has a campaign, various vehicles, and various small details which will make it comparable to games such as the Battlefield series and the Call of Duty series, such renowned series within the war community and gaming community. Also, the game's command mode is able to be played using a tablet or smartphone. However, they are a different role in the game in which they are commanders of people and move troops and assault teams through different variable cities. The player takes his or her soldier through a career, choosing that weapons are specialized and what they want to specialize in. You can be a tank driver, a pilot, or a ground soldier, or a scout for the for the sniper team. Basically, the development here in Generals is Retromotor are always changing it, and have actually added multiple new releases and updates, and they're continuing to do so. And the fact that it's free to play is amazing. So, you guys, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to check all the links in the description. It'll link all the games and where you can find them, and it can also you can also see some of the other titles. Some more honorable mentions are the Battlefield series and the Call of Duty series. But I felt like Battlefield 1942 was one of the most iconic battlefields, and it's also based on World War One, which we might dive into in the future. So yeah, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to check out the other videos and check out my channel. If you want, leave a like, a subscribe, and if you really enjoyed, leave a comment and let me know what you think. And thanks for watching. Goodbye.